Season 2 is just around the corner, and it looks like that we have a lot in store for us. From vehicle mods to new mechanics, and even possibly a war? Yes, that's right, guys. You heard it correctly. A war is going to be breaking out in Season 2, and it looks like it's going to be between the IO and the 7. Now, with this information, we kind of can look and see what the possible Season 2 Battle Pass is going to look like from the survey skins that we got a while back. If you take a look at the survey skins, you can see that there's a couple of different alternates for each skin. There's 3 in general here that I want to point out, and these could be depending on whether you pick the IO or the 7 for your fashion. But that is all speculation. But what we're about to get into are hard facts that are in the files currently that further point to this theory of a war breaking out in between the IO and the 7 for Season 2. For starters, we have a new vehicle in the files. It's codenamed Tread Vehicle. There's currently one at Logjams that is undrivable at the moment, but we should see this ability to drive it sometime during the next season. It is a 2-person vehicle, so you and your duo, perfect for the comp season right now, be able to drive this and rotate around the map. And with the code name like Tread Vehicle, we can just imagine that it's either going to be some kind of tank vehicle or possibly even one of the IO drills that we've seen pop up in the map during this season. It also seems like Epic is really trying to work on more vehicle mods this season, this chapter even. And the first one that we have here is the front bumper. It's codenamed Scoop. Now, this vehicle mod could be used to make the front car more like a battering ram to help you go through builds a lot easier. Now, I don't know if I agree too much with this vehicle mod here, because with building being such a big part of Fortnite, making items that pretty much get rid of building, I'm not too big of a fan of. We'll just have to see exactly how it works when it does come to the game. Now, with the front bumper attachment, we also have the rear bumper attachment. We do see a rear bumper mod in the files codenamed Mega Booster, and if I had to take a guess, this is going to be more like a rocket propelled enhancement for the vehicle, so that way you can move around the map a bit faster. Now, I know those 2 vehicle mods don't really point towards a war between the IO and the 7, but these next 2 is going to be more on that side of the war, and those mods would be turrets and armor. Now, there's really not a lot in the files that tell us exactly how these are going to work, or even if they are vehicle mods, but it seems like you can add these to the vehicle in some type of way. Now, with all the vehicle mods out of the way and some of them that we aren't too sure about, this next one might actually make sense. Epic Games is currently working on a mod garage. Once again, there's not really much in the files that really describes what this thing is. But if I had to take a guess, I would say that these places would probably pop up around the map in the locations of like the gas stations, or possibly even attached to the gas stations. Once at one of these, you can purchase the mod for the vehicle from a vending machine with gold, just like you can with the weapons and heals. Now, this is all speculation on how the mod garages will work, but it is currently in the files and Epic Games is working on this. Moving on from vehicle mods, though, we do have what looks like to be a new chest in the works for Season 2, and that would be the jetpack chest. Epic are working on this chest. It's highly speculated to be a war season. We don't know for sure which faction is going to have these chests. It would probably be the IO, but I could also see the 7 having this chest at one of their POIs that we don't know anything about. I'm really excited to see actually how this jetpack chest is going to work. Obviously, if I had to take a guess, it would drop a jetpack from it. That can't be the only thing that comes from the chests. And of course, with new chests in the works, you know Epic Games are also working on new items and new weapons. As we've seen, this entire chapter has been a complete rework of a lot of the items and weapons that we're kind of used to throughout the past 2 chapters. Now, the first one's going to be a mythic with blades that is kind of similar to Wolverine's, and we do actually have a couple of stats for that as well. These mythic blades are going to have a charge attack, possibly electric. Really, the only electric that we see right now in game are from like the thunderstorms. Now, we have had electric damage in the game before, way back in chapter 1 with the zap traps and the zapatrons and whatnot, but they never really did like elemental damage like we see nowadays inside the game. So it's going to be really interesting to see what this electric damage can actually do. But the minor attack damage on these new mythics is going to be 25 damage to opponents and 50 damage to the builds. It also has a major attack, which does 65 to opponents and 250 to builds. 250 to builds with the major attack. Depending on, what the radius is for that, that could do some serious damage. And this next stat here is a spin attack cooldown of 8 seconds. If I had to take a guess, the spin attack is the major attack that we talked about just previously. And these mythics also have a boosted jump. Now, the boosted jump mechanic will be very interesting to see. We have had mythics in the past that have had some sort of double jump mechanic to them. This is a new chapter, completely new engine that the game is running on, so there's no telling what they'll be able to do now. We also have one other new mythic item that we know about in the files. It is a mythic thermal AR, 39 damage to the body and builds, and 78 damage headshot. It has a clip size of 15 and a reload time of 2 seconds, and the fire rate on this is 1.8 seconds, which equals out to be about 70 damage per second. So this new thermal AR might be tied to an upcoming unnamed POI codenamed DD machine, which mentions thermal and lightning stuff. And a lot of people are speculating that DD machine is Doomsday machine, as we've seen in the past in chapter 2 with Midas and Jules with their whole Doomsday device shenanigans that they got into. Now let's get into the juicy stuff. New mechanics may possibly be coming to season 2. I know what you're thinking. We just got a new mechanic. We just got sliding introduced to us in chapter 3. What is going on? It's going to be a tactical sprint mechanic. With this mechanic, it'll increase your running speed while activated, but it will slowly increase more while you're going downhill. Now, the one downside about this mechanic is that the more your speed increases, the more that your camera is going to shake. So even though you're moving a lot faster and being able to get away from an enemy or rotate into zone, you're not really going to be able to take shots at anybody because it's going to be really hard to do that when your camera's shaking all over the place. We also have the tactical overshield. With these two mechanics, it really points towards that war between the IO and the 7. The tactical overshield, this mechanic's going to add shields on top of your shield and HP, and it also has its own shield bar above your normal blue shield bar. No idea how this is going to be implemented though. Maybe another upcoming mythic, but that's what we know about the tactical overshield at the moment. Now this next one I really want to kind of go into detail with. It's called the Clamber. And what this mechanic does is it gives you the ability to climb, and there will also be a stamina bar that will start to drain as you climb. Now, if you think back to before chapter 3 started, we went over the concept map for chapter 3, and the dude had a lot of notes on the side, and one of them actually mentioned this mechanic. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you know that I covered this mechanic before chapter 3 even came out. This is going to be a really cool mechanic. You can climb, and while you're hanging from something, you can also shoot, use items, drink shields, whatever the case may be. And this mechanic really is going to change the game. So with that chapter 3 teaser that we got before chapter 3 actually started, there's been a lot of things that the inside source mentioned that have already come true. And now we have this Clamber mechanic as well being added. So I wonder if every single thing that he mentioned in that chapter 3 map is actually going to come true sometime during chapter 3. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications so that way you never miss an upload. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.